Here goes, Mr. Minnick helping students use string variables and an array at the same time in a little quiz game thing. So we find this demo program that's in my website, at least here in the fall 2014, under class 13 using string variables. I want to copy and paste all of this much of it right here. And you see that if you want to store words or phrases into a variable, you have to make that variable have the data type string. And string requires you to do pound include string up here at the top of your program. So name, I don't want to use name. I'm going to call it questions. And because it's going to be a bunch of questions and not just one question at a time, you know what? I'm changing my mind. It's going to be the word answer. And the person's answer, we don't know it yet, so I set it equal to what's called the empty string. That's two quotes with nothing inside, not even blank spaces like that. Two quotes next to each other is called the empty string. Okay, please enter your answer. I'm going to ask the guy to try to answer my question. I know I haven't put a question in yet, but I will get around to that. And he's going to see in answer, just like num books in a previous assignment here in this semester. We had we can see in something like that. Now, for now, I'm going to echo my output. I'm just going to echo it to see if things work. I highly recommend that when you write a program, you just don't swing for the fence. You write just short little parts of the program, then you check to see if that much of it works before you move on. And we need to return 0 and end of main, and let's run this program and see if it works. I guess we should do a system pause here, because currently that's how I grade things on the Angel. I need that system pause there. Here goes. Running the program. The famous black window pops up, our console output window, wherever it is here, and it's going to ask us to enter an answer. I don't know what the question is, but I'm just going to type something in as soon as I find my runtime here. It's taking forever. It's still spinning there. Wow, it's really slow. Okay, the answer is blue, and it seems to work. The word blue did get echoed back, so we're off the ground. In other words, we know how to input something, and we know how to output a word, a phrase, a string. Here's the problem, though, right now in this version of the program. If my answer was 2 words, like, I don't know, Justin Bieber, it only captures the first word up to the first space into the variable that you have reserved for that. So right now, answer is the word Justin, and the Bieber is like out in nowhere. It's actually still in there somewhere, but I don't want to get into it right now in this course. So that is not the best way to have the user input text if you're anticipating more than just one consecutive set of characters. In other words, if there's going to be white space, like a blank or a tab or the press of an enter key, you can't do it this way. But lucky for us, somewhere in my lecture notes, which at minnick.com, just to emphasize here, not because I don't know where this is, but just to show you here that all answers of this easy ability are found somewhere in our lecture notes, if not a demo program, and right here in my string lecture notes, I somewhere show you how you can have a space inputted as part of a string. After I teach you about CN, I come down here and introduce you to the getLine function that's built into C++. As soon as I get it, I'll copy and paste it here. I should just do a find for it. Here it is. So you've got this a way of doing it. GetLine parentheses. And I put that in right here. And I'm going to comment out my CN in case in your final project or wherever you apply this, you can depend on CN. Some people will need getLine. And getLine here would have to be rigged up for answer. And let's test it. Justin Bieber is the answer, to who is like, you know, my least favorite musical artist of all time. And it's taking forever to execute here. CN is just a plug-in for like the name of the keyboard, console input. So that has to be there because we're using the keyboard. And then the second parameter is answer, because that's where I want Justin Bieber to be stored. So if this works, I will be echoing back both words, Justin Bieber. Good job. It worked. That whole thing is part of the variable answer. Okay, so while you pick which way of getting input into a program that you might need. Now, I will warn you also that if you're using CN, like I should have warned you this a second ago, if you're using CN and then later in your program you ask the user to input like a second word or even a number, like please enter your age, and maybe you have a variable called age that's an int. This is just a weird situation that will drive you crazy unless you read my lecture notes closely, or in this case, pay attention to this next 1 minute of video. If I had another variable that's an int, or a double, but in this case I'll just make it an int, and here goes, CN age, I don't know why that's squiggly underlining, but it shouldn't be. Rohan, save me here while I'm, oh, that makes sense, because there really shouldn't have been a problem there. So I'm going to echo back the guy's age at the same time as his name, and watch this. It's going to work fine if your name has just one word, like, what's some like musician that only has one name? Well, there are a lot of them these days. It all started with Madonna, and now there's Beyonce and Kesha, whatever she is, and all kinds of people that just think they're cool with one name. So please enter your answer, Madonna. And it says, hey, what's your age? She's like 88 now. And it works. See, that goes back Madonna in 88. But let's check Justin Bieber. So we already know that it's not going to capture the Bieber, because right now I'm using CN and not getLine. It didn't even give me a chance to type in his infant age. So because the Bieber went in the B in Bieber, I think what's happening, I can't really get into detail, but the B in Bieber is being inputted into the variable age. And just because the B has some Unicode value that doesn't work out right as a number or something, age just kind of became 0. And I think there might even be an IE. Well, anyway, the word Bieber got stuck in as age, and it's just baloney now. So the way to avoid that problem, if you are in this situation, is to, if the guy surprises you and does this, one way to do it would be to right here, type in where you think he might be putting a space as part of his answer. You do getLine. Then you flush the buffer, which I show you in the lecture notes. I'm just going to scroll down here and steal my own stuff. Right here, you can't see it, but I just scrolled down a little bit in the lecture notes. It's right here. You do this, see and ignore. Now, obviously, I taught you how to do all this right here in the lecture notes, but I'm just emphasizing it because some people don't read the lecture notes. So just by putting this extra line of code in there, that flushes the buffer after the answer and sets you up nicely so that you can get the age without losing it. Sorry, but it's just something you have to do in this context of C++, as well as other programming languages and environments. You just might have to do this someday as a person earning a salary. I'm ignoring the next 100 characters or everything up to the next press of the enter key. And all that's getting ignored. So the word Bieber is still not being captured because I'm using CN rather than getLine. But at least it's not messing up the input of his 5-year-old age. See, Justin was stored as answer. The Bieber was flushed. That's what ignore basically means. It was flushed. And that allowed for the appropriate input of the next integer in for age. So pretty much everywhere that you expect the person might type a space in, do this see and ignore right after it to be safe. Okay, moving on. And we want to have some questions here. Well, I'm going to make an array of questions. Yeah, an array. I think we just learned those maybe a week or two ago. So I come here to my lecture notes where I teach all this stuff, just to emphasize where you'd learn this yourself. Or I come to a previous demo program that had to do with arrays. That's what I'll probably do. Right here, here's a demo program on arrays. And an array is declared like this, especially if you're going to use a constant for good style. So I'll do that. I'm going to declare an array, and I'm going to declare my array right here in this section where I do all variable declaration statements. Now the array is going to be named questions. It's going to have a length of 5, so I do that good style thing with a constant. So that this program is easier to upgrade down the future. But I don't want to make it hard for me to program. It's going to make the length like ridiculously short right now, like a length of 2. And it's going to be, I don't know why that's squiggly underlining now, but anyway, there is my array of questions. You can do two things. You can hardwire the array or read them in from a file or something. So I'm going to put my first question. Oh, by the way, strings. Oh, I'm sorry. This array of questions needs to be string instead of int. And Rohan, you're going to have to help me out here because I'm not seeing the answer, and I don't want to take the time to have to fix this myself. What color is the sky? It's going to be my first question. And I have another question. It's going to be we are. You all should know that battle cry. And the semicolon there because you always need semicolons. Okay? So after cleaning a little bit up there, I have an array of length 2, which means it has something in position 0. That's position 0 because it's the first thing in the array. And after the comma, that's the thing that's in position 1. And when you initialize an array, if that's what you want to do, you have to put the initializer list in a set of curly braces. That's just the rule. Okay, let's echo this just to make sure it's working before we get too excited here. Cout questions square brackets 0 and endl just because I like endl, and I'm going to do a premature return 0 so I don't have to watch the age and answers fly by. Let's see if this much of it works. I run my program here. And we should see what color is the sky printout because that is the question that is in position 0. I should see, I have errors because the program was still running in the background. I can't run it twice, so let's try again. What color is the sky? In order for us to get out of class early tonight, I hope this works. What color is the sky should print out. Everybody should be paying attention here. Noticing how I'm using, I forgot system pause. Noticing how I use square brackets 0 to access one of the elements of the array. So anybody that's doing a final project with a text-based kind of question-answer theme, this would work. Yep, it's working. Now I need a loop that cycles me through that array and asks all 2 of the questions. Loops are either for loops or while loops generally in this course. I'm going to use a for loop because I know exactly how many questions. It's a definite loop. It's going to be whatever length is, I++. That's just standard stuff. I don't need curly braces because right now I'm just being lazy. And right now I should see both questions fly by when I run this program. Both should be on separate lines because I have the endl there. Oh no, that's too late to stop the program. It's currently trying to run, and I have the 0 in there. It's hardwired as a 0. Anybody know why I'm getting this question twice, and we're not advancing that question? Yeah?
Because it loops twice because the I still works for a loop with the 0s in the...
Square brackets, yes. What should that be then instead?
The I.
Yeah, that should be I. Your loop variable generally goes inside of the square brackets so that you get a full traversal of your array. Thank you for saving me there. I'm going to close out that wrong execution. This is the kind of stuff that happens at the last minute if you wait to do the final project in the last couple of days and I'm not accessible via email. You just have a little 0 there where you should have had an I and you don't see it. Well, you could trace your program and then you would see it if you keep track of I on paper and pencil, but some people just try to mentally brute force it. Okay, perfect. It's asking questions. And now I have to input my answer, so I need curly braces, and because I need a second line of code in there, I need the guy to input his answer right in this area. So I'm going to move my answer code up there and put it in the body of that and indent it for good style. Whoops. And I want that get line. Now, these are all one-word answers for now. So we really don't need that see and ignore. But I'll keep it in there anyway because it shouldn't hurt. Here goes. I'm now finished illustrating that stuff about the age because we're not really concerned about somebody's age in this quiz program that I'm creating. And I'm going to move that diagnostic statement right in there so that we sort of get feedback as we go. This is what you should have learned by doing assignments 1, 2, and 3 so far. Survival skills for building up a program. Here goes. So each question is going to be asked, and I get a chance to answer each question. First question, what color is the sky? And I say blue. Hit the enter key. It echoes back my answer like it should. And now it's saying, hey, what we are, question mark. And I write PSU. I can't put Penn space, state space, university because the spaces will screw it up. So right now, that's going to have to be the correct answer. Now, what grade did I get? You know, what score? Do I pass? Can I print out a certificate or something? Well, we have no clue what the answers are. I could have answered Ohio State to the we are thing, and it wouldn't have known, you know, that I'm coming from this campus computer here. So we got to check and validate our answers. Well, where are the answers? The computer doesn't know the answers. We need another array, and it's going to be called a parallel array. And it's not really a C++ thing. It's just a computer science thing. 2 arrays that have the same length and kind of logically relate to each other. Maybe you even want to space this out and sort of put the word blue in there as element 0. And maybe, I don't really do this, but some people do. Maybe you sort of line it up vertically like this and put your answers in like this. So it's all tidy-like, and some people even do this. Yeah, I guess that's fine. That's not my style. Okay, so we don't need age anymore there. That was an unused variable. I'd take a point off if that were still in your program. Now, I need to check my answers to see if the user's answer singular, is the same as answers, square brackets, whatever. This is kind of dangerous, having a variable that's just one letter differently named than another one, but I think you can handle it as long as you're, you know, drinking coffee and paying attention here. Okay, so if your answer is answer, we need to check with an if statement. If answer double equals answers I, not 0 or 1, but I, then reward the person with, you know, well done. Okay. So each time I should be told whether I got it right or not. And since this see and ignore kind of goes with this see in, I'm going to keep that tucked up there. I don't want stuff to get out of order for logic. Okay, crossing my fingers, running the program, and hoping that right now I'm getting, I see some corrects because I, as the programmer, know the answers to this quiz. I can see them right there in the code. Here it goes. First question should be blue, lowercase. It is case sensitive. Yes, it says correct. Now I'm going to mess up on this one and say Pitt. Hate to, but we are not Pitt. And it did not say I was correct, so it's working, but it doesn't tell me my score. Now it came to our attention that this program does not give feedback if the person got something incorrect. So I'm just going to put an else here and say, because if I did pseudocode first, I probably would have written all this out logically on, you know, in English phrases. So see out incorrect, and that's that. And just trust me, that would work. We're going to move on to the next feature of the program. So I guess one thing we could do now is count up the number right and all that and divide and come up with an average. So any suggestions on where I should put that mathematical logic? Oh, I need a variable called like num correct. Set it equal to 0. Okay, somebody just tell me approximately where should I do something to count up the number correct? Yep. Plus plus. Just add 1 to num correct right there where I tell the guy correct. And just don't do anything here because he doesn't get negative points or something. He just doesn't get added. So at the end, I guess, after the loop is totally done, I'll just see out you got however many correct. So with a nice little counter variable, num correct, and added in the body of the loop and embedded in an if statement, it will check and add up how many I got correct. And I always test small, with the small length of 2. Don't be typing in like 50 questions, Alan, in your like wizard game or something, and then have to like type in a bunch of stuff every time you like test your program. Just make it simple. Yeah, because I've been there and done that. I spent all my time testing.
My test plan, I was saying I would test the different modules
Separate. You did say that. That's.
Implement them together.
Yep.
So that way, I might have to do a couple steps.
Bam.
For each module, but I wouldn't have to go through the whole, like half the game to test the second half.
Yep. Isolation testing or something we call that,
Yeah.
and putting stubs in, and all that. There, you saw it worked. I got 1 correct. It added up. Now I just divide by my average. See out the mean or the average. Your score percentage-wise would be num correct divided by length, not the number 2, because this program can be easily upgraded with just 1 change of the number right here, this 2 to whatever. Now we will have to go in and add questions by hand with commas here in this set of curly braces. That's a pain. I'll show you how to fix that later. So here we go. Let's test this. When you have an integer divided by another integer, what's the potential problem? It could cut off your decimal places. So I'm going to typecast this. We learned about this to a double. Change num correct temporarily for like the microsecond there. And that will not allow the decimal places to get chopped off, because that 0.5 would have been chopped off to 0 if I get 1 out of 2 right if I didn't put the word double in there with this set of parentheses. Because both those variables are doubles, okay? Blue real fast, I'll type in pit again, and I got 1 out of 2 right for an average of 50.5. I don't know, if you like a percent symbol and stuff, you can do that on your own time. Okay, so now, another natural extension to this would be to bring the questions in from a file and give somebody else the easy ability to update like a notepad file, a text file, and they would not have to get into our source code because they'll mess it up if they're not a C++ programmer. So we already learned how to do that. You can stop watching this video if you're happy with just a hardwired quiz. The questions are always in the same order and all that stuff, which I don't want to get into that, but that would be a good extension for your final project to figure out how to take random questions out of here and not reuse the same question twice. That's a lot of work for a Comp Sci 101 student. So that would be a good extension. Okay, how to bring this in from a file, because you can stop watching this program now if this meets more or less your needs. Are we allowing multiple words as answers? No. Let's put in that get line again. I like that. What I do with it? I deleted it. Get line. Let's make this work for things that might have spaces, and let's test that real fast before I do get to the file version of this. We are Penn State University, or just Penn State, with the space in there between the N and the S. Let's check this out to see if it works. With getLine. The color of the sky is still blue, and getLine will work correctly with that. But the Penn State is the one that, oh, what did I just do? Oh, it's waiting for an extra press of the enter key. Sorry about that. I'll have to figure that out later. So an extra press of the enter key here, and it did tell me that I got both right for a 100%. I don't like that average of 1. That just bugs me. So I'm going to multiply all this by 100. And tack on a percent symbol with string concatenation, or this way of doing it right here. It's kind of messy. Now I need to put parentheses in here to override the order of operations, otherwise it would be mathematically incorrect there. Okay, that will now print out the percent rather than like a point something number. I needed the extra press of the enter key here because of the get line. Oh, because of the see and ignore. So you don't need the see and ignore if you're using getLine. That was only used if you had like CN answer. So I'm sort of going to comment out these two and just comment here for answers that may have embedded spaces. And this is for single word answers. Doing it that pairways. Okay, finally, just one last test before we do the file stuff. And bring our questions in magically from another file that's on the hard drive of this computer. And now, bam, no extra presses of the enter key. It is telling me that I have 100%. I had 2 right out of 2. I should put a slash. Oh man, I'm getting really into it here. I put another little kind of thing here that tells the guy he has 2 right out of 2. Okay, so bringing this in from the files. This is a good spot here to stop this whole demo and upload it to YouTube. Have a good day.